Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellen and in this video I am doing the book buffet tag. I was kindly tagged by my new booktube friend V from the Sassy Library Fox. I will have her video for this tag linked down below. While I'm waiting for the last couple books that I got for my birthday to arrive, I thought I would respond and do this tag. So keep an eye out for my birthday book haul. It is coming and it is by far the most amount of books I've ever received in one time. So wait for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So the first question is APPETIZER, a short story, novelette, or novella that you wish could be expanded into a full-length novel or get a novel-length sequel. My answer for this question is probably the little novella that we got from Winter Spell by Claire Legrand. So Claire Legrand wrote Winter Spell, which is like a Nutcracker retelling, and this book left a huge impression on me. I absolutely loved it, and I actually read the entirety of this book when I was in Japan, when I was in high school. So this book has really amazing memories for me. And I remember in the back of the book, or I forgot where I saw, but it said that there's like a little short story thing that she wrote that expands on what happens at the end. I don't want to spoil anything, but I remember going to Claire Legrand's website where she had that little short story for free, and I wanted more. Like, I just loved Clara and Nicholas in the story, and I wish we got a little bit more info on them after the fact. So I wish we could have gotten a sequel. I think that would have been so cool. Question 2, salad bar. Pick 3 ingredients, plot element, writing style, tropes, etc. that would be in your ideal book salad. I'm gonna have to think about this one. Something that I usually love in books is like an enemies to lovers trope. I love when they might be a love interest at some point, but they just absolutely don't get along. Maybe they're on opposite sides of a conflict, or they just don't see eye to eye on some issues. But then once they get to know each other, they realize they have a lot more in common than they think. I really like that over like a really quick romance that doesn't seem that very believable, or any other kind of love trope. I usually like the enemies to lovers more, or a slow burn. I also love like the internal journey of the main character, when the main character goes through like some kind of arduous quest and they are tested to their limits on who they are, and they have to improve and be an even better version of themselves. So I love that. And another thing, let's see, I usually like dual perspectives. So I would love a book that would just have 2 perspectives, maybe from opposite sides of the conflict, or both points of views in like a love story, something like that. That is something that I really enjoy. Question 3, DOSA Station, a slim volume that packs a significant punch. So for this book, I have to choose The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. But this is a really short book, and it kind of reads like a children's story, but this very much is targeted towards adults, I believe. Like, you can just get so much out of it. It really just hits you to the core. This definitely packs a significant punch, and it is definitely one of those books that I recommend most people read. And I feel like most people have read this, and I've only read it in like the last 2 or 3 years. So if you haven't read it, I do recommend that you give it a go. Like I said, it's pretty short. It's kind of easy to read it in just a couple sittings. So yeah, my answer is The Alchemist. Question 4, Pasta, a book that brings you comfort and leaves you fully satisfied and content when you're done with it. I have to choose like any Sarah Dessen book. I know I've mentioned her before, but Sarah Dessen just really knows how to write characters like in high school, coming of age stories, and a lot of the times the main character has like some really deep conflict that they're trying to handle, usually on their own. And I love books like The Truth About Forever, Just Listen, Along for the Ride. I just really love her kind of older books. I haven't really read any of her recent ones, but those books I could just reread. They make me feel really good. And because they're familiar, they bring me so much comfort, and I can just kind of skim through to my favorite parts. I absolutely love her books. I loved them in high school, and I definitely want to do a reread of them as an adult because I still have very fond memories of her books. Question 5, Beef. A book that is hearty, whether it's long, fills you up with gooey warmth, or was just a slog to get through. So for this one, I have to choose one of my favorite books of all time, and I picked this one because it is a bit long, but I think is so worth it, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have the annotated version, which I really love because on one side you get the actual story, and on the other side you get notes pertaining to the story, such as giving you historical context on what's going on, or some of the English words that no longer pertain to us today, letting us know what the definition of them are, and also why certain things have relevance in the story and why Jane Austen included them in the first place. I love this. I also have the same version for Emma. So one side is the story, the other side are the notes. It just helps me get a lot more out of the story. And the reason why I love Pride and Prejudice so much is just because it makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside. It takes a really strong woman from like the 18th century, and you know, she doesn't really feel like she's gonna find true love because of her low economic status, and along comes the kind of arrogant Mr. Darcy. And I love rereading this book. I can reread this book many, many times in my lifetime, and I plan on doing that. So definitely this one makes me have gooey warmth inside. Question 6, bread. Something you and your friends fight over while waiting for your dinner is the bread basket. Talk about a book you fight with other people about. So I haven't fought with other people about this book, but I feel like if I started to have a conversation with other booktubers about this book, maybe there might be some disagreements, and that would have to be Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I just feel like most booktubers that I watch who has read this book, they just seem to absolutely love it. They think it's like so great. It's like on the same level as The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, an earlier book that Taylor Jenkins Reid has written. And I don't understand the hype at all. I think I gave it like a 2 stars. It did not leave a good impression on me. I didn't like some of the plot points that was used. Like the same plot device was used for like every single perspective that was in the story, and it just got really old and bland. And I didn't really feel there's a lot of dynamics in this story. I know I'm an unpopular opinion, but none of the characters really drew me in. I didn't really care about any of the other characters, and the point of view from the past I really didn't care about either. So just a lot of this book did not work for me, and I'm sorry if that offends anyone. If you enjoyed it, then that's great, but I just personally didn't, and I just feel like a lot of booktubers love this book, so I don't understand. Let me know, do you agree with me on this book or do you disagree? Because I kind of feel like I'm in the minority. Question 7, Cheese Room, a book with a happy ever after ending. I have to choose Pride and Prejudice again. You do get a happily ever after ending with this. I know there are some things that maybe for other characters it's not so great, but for the most part, for the characters that you care about, this is definitely a happily ever after ending, especially when at least I care about Elizabeth so much. So I really do think that this delivers in the happily ever after. Question 8, Chocolate Fountain. When you read a new series or author, do you dip in and out, or do you read it all back to back? I definitely have to dip in and out. If I read too much of the same story, I get a little bored. And that doesn't mean that the writing's bad or the author isn't great or anything like that. It's just, if my head gets stuck in the same world for too long, I just find myself getting a little bored. It takes me even longer to get through it. I'm not as eager to pick it up. Whereas if I kind of dip in and out, if I read the first book in a series and I take like a 2 or 3 month break, then I feel really ready to dive back in again, and it kind of feels refreshing and new again. So I cannot really read a series back to back to back. I actually really wish I could, but just for my own sanity, I just cannot. It isn't as fun for me. So I do enjoy having some other books in between. Question 9, who's invited? Tag some foodie friends. So I should have checked before I did this, but I don't know if the booktubers I want to shout out have done this tag or not. I'm hoping they haven't. So I'm just going to tag some people, and if you have done it, of course you don't have to, but the people I tag are Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads, Leslie from The Nerdy Narrative, and Steph from Steph's Bookish World. I would love to see you guys do this tag. And also I tag anyone else that is watching this that wants to do it. I would love to see your answers for this. And please comment down below if you did decide to do it and let me know so I can go check out your version of this. That is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much, V from the Sassy Library Fox. Again, I'll have her channel linked down below. And until next time, guys, bye.